So Joe Rogan didn't know this about the Philippines, and neither did I. A lot of people link this over because it basically is saying that why doesn't anyone know this about the Philippines? This got me really intrigued, especially considering I plan on living there. I love the Philippines, a beautiful place. I've already been. Can't wait to go back again. I'm really hyped to see this. Come join me. I love you guys. Let's go.
In this clip, former Chief Warrant Officer Bill Thompson gives insight into the U.S. military's operations in the Philippines following 9/11. Check it out.
The actual gathering of intelligence from other people.
What?
You know, you would call it spy or, James Bond, but James Bond was a horrible spy.
Was he?
I mean, yeah, your job's to remain
Anonymous.
And you're walking into a casino and there's Goldfinger calling you by your first and last name. It's not a great look.
Yeah. Real life spies you're not supposed to be recognized whatsoever. I think even in the Indian film I watched recently, Durandar, that's one of the reasons and primary reasons I actually love that film was because of how they went about it, where even in real life, because that story was based off of real things, the spy is not known, right? Like, to an extent. Like, they don't say it was him. They don't say nothing like that. Absolutely not. You don't get no credit, but that's what you signed up for.
Generally, you don't want to be sleeping with your sources or using your real name or whatever. So human intelligence. And then my focus for the last 10 years was how does signals intelligence, computer network operations become a force multiplier for people conducting overt and clandestine operations throughout the theater at that time. My deployments and my time was spent in Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, Northern Africa. And then a lot of people don't know it, but we were in active combat operations in the southern Philippines as well.
Wow.
For a fair amount of time. I want to maybe say 7 or 10 years. We were doing combat operations.
When was this?
In the southern Philippines.
Before we continue, let me give you a little backstory into why American forces were in the Philippines. Following the 9/11 attacks, the southern Philippines became the second front in the global war on terror due to the presence of Al-Qaeda-linked groups. It was called
Marawi happened too, right? Well, after that, Marawi happened because there were so many of those groups there as well, which is just as terrifying, by the way. And the Philippines did a beautiful job. I have documentaries on the channel that I reacted to where they did a phenomenal job at taking out those. They took it out within what, 2 months, or how many months was it? I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a little bit since I watched the documentary, but it's on the channel. And it was surprisingly fast, considering that they took over an entire town or entire city. It was unbelievable the way that the Philippines went about it.
Operation Enduring Freedom. The goal was to advise and assist the armed forces of the Philippines in neutralizing groups like Abu Sayyaf and Jama'ah Islamiyah.
My first deployment to the southern Philippines was 2007.
Who were we doing operations against?
So there were terrorist elements down there that were traveling back and forth from Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And there was a terrorist organization down there called the Abu Sayyaf group. And there were other ones as well. Jama'ah Islamiyah, I think, was the name of the other one. And they were conducting their own terrorist anti-Christian operations in the southern part of the Philippines. In the southern part of the Philippines.
The Abu Sayyaf group was founded in 1991 by Abdurrajak Janjalani, who was an Afghan war veteran. The Abu Sayyaf group became infamous for beheading for ransom and the 2004 Super Ferry 14 bombing, which killed 116 people.
What?
In the 90s,
I never even heard about that. Aw, dude, come on.
for beheading for ransom, and the 2004 Super Ferry 14 bombing, which killed 116 people. In the 90s, they were funded by Osama bin Laden's brother-in-law and provided the muscle and local knowledge for international terrorists like Ramzi Youssef, who was the 1993 World Trade Center bomber. If the Abu Sayyaf was the local gang, then Jama'ah Islamiyah would be considered the regional corporate office. Based primarily in Indonesia, Jama'ah Islamiyah was the Southeast Asian affiliate of Al-Qaeda. These groups used the southern Philippines as a training ground, with high-grade explosives being the focus.
Bro, can I say it? Can I say the word?
What do you mean?
Jamie, can you pull up a map of the Philippines? Can you pull it up?
Oh, say that?
I wanted
say
to
that
say
term?
that.
Yeah, pull it up, Jamie.
Been listening to it forever. So there's what's called the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao, which is the southern part from like a place called Zamboanga down to Hulu or Holo Island. And there's it's a funny joke because if you zoom into Zamboanga, which is...
God, look how many islands
I know.
It's
Go down to the south there. See Go down right there. Right. Zoom right there on that island. Now move to the southwest. You see that penis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
At the tip of that penis.
no! Wait, I see a little. Is that the sperm? No. Filipinos. Hey, Filipinos. You have a penis and sperm on the map. I want to give y'all a round of applause.
This is called Zamboanga.
Mm-hmm.
All of our combat operations, now if you zoom out a little bit more and pan more south and zoom out just a little bit more so the joke hits, all that sperm south of the tip of the Zamboanga city.
Damn, I'll never look at the Philippines the same way again.
No, I won't either. I didn't even realize. Oh my gosh, it is two bowlies. Two bowly people. And then let me know your thoughts, guys. I'm sorry if you was playing this in your living room. I mean, we got to learn somehow, right? We got to learn somehow, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, oh, Enero Luna. You guys have a place named that? Oh my gosh. Enero Luna. I watched Enero Luna on my Vision Movies channel. Crazy film based on the true story of him. Oh my gosh. What?
Something interesting about this part of the Philippines is that before the Spanish arrived in the 1500s, the south was ruled by powerful sultanates, which is an Islamic version of a kingdom. They were so well organized and militarily capable that they successfully resisted Spanish colonization for over 300 years, which was a feat the northern islands could not achieve.
There are terrorist operations in here. Now, if you go to that main island called Sulu, there's Holo Island. That's where I was, on this tiny island out in the middle of nowhere. And on that, there's a mountain.
That's all the Philippines?
Well, no, I mean, this is all the Philippines down here, yeah.
Wow.
So this is called, there's a mountain in there, I think it was called Mount Tumatok or something like that, on the eastern part of the island called Luke. It's called Luke. Yeah, so there's mountains, there's a mountainous region there. There are a bunch of terrorists up there. They were killing people in the area, conducting bombings. They were getting trained. In fact, there was a guy, and I believe, I'm going to get his name wrong perhaps, but I believe his name, it was either Insulon Haplon, or, it was Jamal Patek. He was actually arrested outside of Osama bin Laden's compound the day after he was killed. We were trying to kill him on that island, or in and around that island is where we were trying to find him and kill him. So they're terrorist facilitators. They did the USS Cole bombing.
The USS Cole bombing was a pivotal moment in the lead up to 9/11. It was carried out by Al-Qaeda against a U.S. Navy destroyer on October 12, 2000. A small fiberglass boat appearing to be a harbor craft approached the ship. The two suicide bombers even reportedly smiled and waved to the sailors on deck before detonating approximately 400 to 700.
So they waved, were all happy and like go up to it and detonate themselves. Yo, that is horrifying. That is horrifying. And the worst part, you know what's crazy is it happened in 2000, a year before I was born. The year I was born, my dad told me he had the TV on and saw like what was going on. And obviously, even in Brazil, you could see it anywhere. And it was terrible. It was like a worldwide thing that everyone saw, right? It wasn't just only you have to be in America to see it. As an example, even in Brazil, you'd see on a TV that this just happened and all news channels were tuned in onto that because it was so bad. It was so horrible what happened on 9/11. And I remember my dad explained to me like, man, I was just like in the crib or whatever. Not even necessarily in the crib. I was what? Yeah, no, I think I was. I was like, how many months old was I? I was born April 1st, 2001. Yes, I know. Get your jokes out. I was born on April Fool's Day. Yes. I was born April 1st, and it happened in September 11th. Oh, bro. I literally was 5 months old. Oh, dude. Smile and wave is the scariest part about this.
Pounds of explosives. The blast ripped a 40 by 40 foot hole in the side of the ship, right at the waterline, flooding the galley where many sailors were lined up for lunch. 17 sailors were killed and 39 were wounded.
Zoom back out. I want to see the Philippines one more time, like all the islands. when you zoom all the way out, it's so nuts how many
Yeah.
islands there are.
Yeah.
So
It's
up north,
big.
An interesting fact is that as of 2026, the Philippines is officially composed of 7,641 islands.
Yep.
More than 5,000 of the islands are so small that they don't even have official names yet, and only about 2,000 of these islands are permanently inhabited by people.
up north of Manila is mostly the Christian
Wow.
population, and as you get down south, it's the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao, and that is all of where these terrorist operations were happening. And I believe that mostly pulled out of there. There might be still some people in Zamboanga. I'm not sure anymore because it's been 4 years since I retired.
The U.S. military has not pulled out of the Philippines. In fact, they have recently increased their presence. Since Operation Enduring Freedom, which is the one Bill was deployed on, ended in 2015, the operation simply shifted into a smaller advisory role, which has now grown again into a broader strategic partnership due to rising tensions in the Pacific, specifically with China making moves in the region.
But yeah, we were.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is like the Philippines is also growing in military power as well. Especially the Filipino Special Forces are incredible, right? And what they're capable of. Especially like one of the greatest examples I would say is what they were able to do in Marawi. But because watching that documentary, that's stayed in my brain for a long time of what the Philippines is capable of and what they were able to accomplish and what some of the incredible heroic soldiers did. Especially that one guy who said to bomb his location. Like, it's unbelievable what they were able to do. And it was beautiful, man, in that sense, right? That the Philippines was so incredibly powerful individually. And there's so much proof of that and so many like stories about the Filipinos. And I love it, man. I love seeing it. This is exactly why I love the Philippines, but that's besides the point. I think the point that I'm trying to make is that Filipinos are getting stronger, especially militarily wise, and they're getting stronger economically wise. And I think that the beautiful thing about it is, yes, there is like obviously corruption, and I think a lot of Filipinos do know about it, are aware of it. And I've mentioned millions of times that, like, yes, every country has its problems and pretty bad problems. Some may be worse than the Philippines, but that's not the point. The point is Filipinos recognize it and they want to fix it. And I think that is important, period. Filipinos want to fix it. And so therefore, this is what's going to happen. They will. And it may take time, but they will. And in involving this, right, military growing, all of these things going, Filipinos are still adjusting and working through the corruption that happens and stuff. And I think it will eventually get worked through and the Philippines will grow even more because, man, after having been there, especially in Makati, I was in some parts. I remember I took some photos there and some Filipinos were like, oh, why would you take it picture in the worst part of the Philippines? There was like one guy who said that. I was like, dude, I've seen way worse in the world. And I'm not trying to say or downplay that, yeah, some parts are bad. They are, right? Even in Brazil, we have favelas, right? But that isn't all of the Philippines. And if you go to BGC, you'll see a wonderful example of what the Philippines is really capable of. It's unbelievable. When we went, it was like a better version of New York. I'll say that again. It's like a better version of New York. Because New York was, for me, there was so many areas that were beautiful, but it was so riddled by trash and so riddled by, a lot of homelessness, which is very sad. And I know that it has areas like that in the Philippines, but I'm saying like when I was in BGC, there was so many like police actually strolling about and they were, being very active. And it was just showing that the Philippines was so incredibly capable, right? And Filipinos do have all the tools, all the resources, an archipelago that is so vast and so unique. I don't know. Hopefully you guys, what you get from my rant right now is just that the Philippines is more than capable. It's not like, we can't do it. No, you guys can more than do it. There was a point where the Philippines was above South Korea and above Japan in economics. And then things happened, war, this and all that. And they went out of their way to help South Korea. And then they kind of went down because while they were helping them, they weren't focusing much on them, which is very wholesome and shows you a lot of the Filipino traits. But that just shows you that it is possible to get it again. You know what I mean? It's kind of like somebody who like lost a lot of weight, they gained it back. the fact that you lost it before tells you that you can do that again. Meaning like the fact that you were incredible, you know, in economics, you were steamrolling past, you could do it again. And I think the Philippines is more than capable. I've already seen hints of it, especially having been there. Anyways, that's my TED Talk for today. I love the Philippines. I love Filipinos. I love you guys. Let's keep going.
Doing counterinsurgency operations down there, and guys died down there, and there were combat operations. And I was out there. I was in a tactical military intelligence battalion, and I was attached to the 1st Special Forces Group. And we were down there a couple of times, and a lot of people don't even know about it. So
Yeah, I never heard about it.
yeah. So anyway,
I'm sorry to
No,
it's
no,
a sidebar,
no.
but I'm so stunned at how many islands are in the Philippines, how spread out it is.
yeah, it's insane.
I
And
love it.
The thing about it is I'd go to all of these little outposts and these out islands. We were always debriefing these guys, and I'm going to get these terms wrong, so I'm sure there'll be people in the comments. But I think they're called bongarais or something like that. But they were like these mayors of each one of these little islands.
Bill is
Oh,
referring
yeah.
to the barangay captain. They're at the
Barangay.
4th level of hierarchy under president, governor, and mayor. Many Filipinos argue the barangay captain is the most influential person in their lives because they settle small disputes. To get a job, a business permit, or a bank loan, you often need a barangay clearance, which is a document signed by the captain proving you are a resident in good standing. They are also first responders in major emergencies.
And there'd be terrorists
Wow.
in and around those areas, and we'd try to make friends with these guys so they'd give us some information. And every one of those places was absolutely beautiful. Like you'd go there and be like, man, Hilton could turn this into something in a short order.
Right.
You know, when you're out of these places, beautiful beach, beautiful
Yeah.
lush jungles, the best swimming water.
Nicest people too.
Oh, the
Filipinos
Filipino
are so
people
cool.
are some of my favorite people, man. Like you want to talk,
I'm going to start screaming at the top of my lungs. I literally have conversations all the time with people, and they all agree. But some Filipinos seem to disagree where they're like, oh, it's just foreigners. That's not true. I've seen Filipinos be nice to other Filipinos. You guys have to understand that there is, of course, going to be some sections of like racism. There's no such thing as the perfect world. So you're going to have some bad experiences, but that doesn't mean that it's the whole. You know what I mean? And like the same concept applies to every sort of country, right? Like there's going to be so many bad people where you're racist towards each other. You have these things, but I've seen it with my own eyes. Filipinos be nice to each other. It's not like I just watch me and then I'm like, yep, it's only to me. So I'm walking around. No, my friend looks Filipino. My friend's, hey, they're nice to him. And that's not just him. An actual Filipino speaking Tagalog, they're being super nice to him. Brother, this isn't like, you know what I mean? This isn't a game of like, yeah, no, they're not. Yes, they are. Like, there's obviously so much proof that Filipinos also don't have to just be nice to foreigners, right? But they just do it. And they are not asking for anything in return. Keep that in mind, because I'm very aware, self-aware, and aware of my surroundings, that if I notice that they're just being way too nice just for something, no, I'll see right through that. But that's not what Filipinos were doing. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things that I see more and more people always mention it, especially him. He just retired, a couple of years ago. And he is still talking about it. Filipinos are some of the most favorite people that he has or knows. And on top of that, it goes back into that whole entire rant I went on about how the Philippines is capable. For him to go and say, oh man, Hilton would just turn this. Like, because of how beautiful the Philippines is and its capabilities, the tools they have, the beaches they run, or not run, but the beaches that they own to an extent, that they just have to their, exposal or disposal, right? Whatever they have access to. It's so wondrous and so vast and so fantastic. The possibilities for the Philippines is endless, right? Of course, they got things to work on, but again, man, and the Filipino people on top of that, you guys have everything going for you. All you got to do is just work on it, right? And it's going to be there 100,000%.
Oh, the
Filipinos
Filipino
are so
people
cool.
are some of my favorite people, man. Like you want to talk, the guys that we worked with out there, they're I think they're called Scout Sniper, Scout Rangers.
Scout Rangers.
They were special. I think they were like their special forces.
Bill is referring to the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment, known simply as the Scout Rangers. They are the masters of jungle warfare, with their
Yep.
specialty being long-range reconnaissance and tracking enemies through dense terrain. Their
Yep.
badge is a Black Panther.
We go to the range with these guys and show them stuff, and they're the most ride or die type of guys you'll ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so and so said this about you last week, and I could kill him. It's like, no, dude, it's cool. It's like, don't worry about it. Like,
Yo, that's pure Filipino fashion. He's like, yo, he said I'll kill him real quick if you need, but you got to bring me some Red Horse or some coffee. Run through the battlefield. That one clip that I watched in a documentary of the Special Forces, he ran through bullets to get coffee for his commander. Crazy, bro.
Fun fact: they're some of the best pool players on earth too.
oh, really?
He's thinking of Efren Reyes.
Some of the greatest pool players of all time came out of the
They're
Philippines.
just great people. I mean, the people down there were fantastic. And it was awful because those guys would be bombing churches, Christian churches and stuff like that. And
Dude.
they're doing counter intelligence operations out there, doing intelligence operations collection to inform that battle picture. But those guys had direct links with Osama bin Laden and other
Wow.
people.
I had no idea.
Yeah, right after like I said, I think if you look it up, I think his name is Patek, Patek, and he was arrested outside of Osama bin Laden's compound, and we had been chasing him in the Philippines
Wow.
because we thought he was still down there.
Umar Patek, also known as the Demolition Man, and a senior member of Jamaah Islamiyah, was responsible for the 2002 Bali bombings and was hiding in the Philippines during Bill's deployment there. He was captured in Pakistan on January 25, 2011, just a few miles away from the compound that Osama bin Laden would later be killed 4 months later in. Interestingly, in a move that sparked significant controversy, especially in Australia, Umar Patek was released on parole in December 2022 after serving about half his sentence.
What?
He has reportedly been de-radicalized and now works with the Indonesian government to talk other militants out of extremism. He has made several public apologies for his role in the Bali bombings.
But yeah, my job was not. I always say this on podcasts because the veteran community.
I think it's kind of beautiful to see him rehabilitate, but I don't know. That's a very touchy subject because a lot of people are going to feel very angry because it's going to pertain to a lot of people who probably have lost one of their significant others to that bombing that he was involved in and are going to feel vastly different than, say, somebody like me or somebody like someone else in the comments who didn't lose somebody there and is saying that it is good to see him redeem himself to an extent, but that's something he can never, ever move past, that he was a part of that. And I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts on that one. I mean, it's good to see it, but rehabilitate himself. But again,
is wild right now. They love to cut each other down right now. There's something weird going on where,
Yeah,
like,
something very
obviously
weird.
lying. Yeah, call
Yeah.
the people out. I prefer to call people out face to face.
Does anyone here follow the vet drama? I find it pretty fascinating myself. I feel like if they're capitalizing on stolen valor to build themselves up publicly, then they should be called out that way too. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
But I always make sure people know I was not a cool guy. Like sometimes I got to dress like one. You know, for a few years I didn't wear any uniforms and I got to grow my beard out and act like a cool guy. But I was really a nerd for cool guys. I've literally got pictures of myself down in the holo or in Afghanistan or anywhere else, and tape around my glasses and, you know, Pez dispenser and my radio and collection equipment, looking like a true blue American nerd. But I was not the guy who kicked the door in. I was always the guy who pointed the door out. So I'd be safe in the Humvee in the back, you know, eating an MRE, and somebody that looked like another gorilla, you know, like a Andy Stump or Tim Kennedy or someone like that. I'd be like, is that the house? I'd be like, pretty sure that's the house. You guys might want to be safe, but go ahead. I'll be in the Humvee. I'll be out here, or I'll be in an
Wow, he's
airplane
being honest,
above, you know.
Thank you so much for watching.
Wow.
Would love to hear from
yo, that was a great video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I mean, wonderful video. A lot of things being said there. And I want to say I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and other videos to react to. Till next time. Peace. How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end.